Edward Grimeston was an English sergeant-at-arms and one of the most active translators of his day. He was sworn in as sergeant-at-arms to assist the Speaker in the Parliament of England on the 17th of March 1609 tenths. He married a daughter of Armiger, Streatley. He had a son, Edward, and Sir Harbottle Grimeston was his nephew. He was buried in St Margaret's, Westminster, on the 14th of December 1640. Works. Edward Grimeston published several large and influential histories, dedicating them to Sir Robert Cecil, 1st Earl of Salisbury, and Thomas Howard, 1st Earl of Suffolk. George Eld printed and published Grimeston's A General Inventory of the History of France, and in conjunction with stationers Adam Islip, M. Flesher, and William Stansby, Grimeston's A General History of the Netherlands, the General History of Spain, the General History of the Magnificent State of Venice, and A General History of France. Grimeston's histories were used for source material by several well-known 17th-century playwrights. The General History of Spain was likely the source for Philip Massinger's Believe As You List, and A General Inventory of the History of France was the primary source for George Chapman's Bussy d'Amboise, The Revenge of Bussy d'Amboise, and The Conspiracy and Tragedy of Charles, Duke of Biron. Grimeston also published The Honest Man, or The Art to Please in Court, a translation of a French courtly conduct manual by Nicolas Farret. L'Honnête Homme, L'Art de plaire à la court. The Honest Man offers advice to the would-be courtier, a gentleman along the lines of Baldassare Castiglione's The Book of the Courtier. Grimeston dedicated the book to Richard Hubert the Courtier and Groom Porter to Charles I of England. Works. Translations. A True History of the Memorable Siege of Ostend from anonymous French original. The Natural and Moral History of the East and West Indies by José de Acosta. A General Inventory of the History of France. Admirable and Memorable Histories by Simon Goulet. A General History of the Netherlands by Jean-François Le Petit. The Low Country Commonwealth by Jean-François Le Petit. A General History of France, 2nd edition. The Heroic Life and Deplorable Death of the Most Christian King Henry IV by Pierre Mathieu. The General History of Spain by Louis de Meun Turquet. The History of Louis by Pierre Mathieu. The Estates, Empires, and Principalities of the World by Pierre Daviti. A Table of Humane Passions by Nicolas Coefito. The Imperial History from the First Foundation of the Roman Monarchy to this present time by Pedro Mexia. A General History of France, 3rd edition. A General History of the Netherlands, 2nd edition. The Honest Man, or The Art to Please in Court by Nicolas Farret. The Councillor of a State, containing the greatest and most remarkable considerations serving for the managing of public affairs by Philippe de Béthune. The History of Polybius the Megalopolitan by Louis Maigret. The History of the Imperial Estate of the Grand Seigneurs by Michel Bordier. The History of the Court of the King of China by Michel Bordier.